recently. We've seen him a couple of times recently, but
yeah.
not really as much as before.
What was it Gambit last season really made him work. Dahak safe lane with the mid Shadow Fiend especially. Earthshaker is going to come on the 4th spot now for EHOME. So talk about more crowd control that they're bringing to the table. Another answer to Chaos Knight. Man, this Centaur and Chaos Knight are certainly getting counted of sorts in this draft, that's for sure.
They definitely are. But again, it feels like Fighting Pandas have a lineup that isn't necessarily easier to execute, but a lineup that doesn't rely on one specific item to make them work, right? They just need the levels and a couple of standard items like Chaos Knight. Let's say a bracer and an armlet and you're good to go. Right? On EHOME, for you to initiate, you need to get the Earthshaker's Blink or Aghanims. You need to get a couple of things going for yourself before you're actually able to fight. And right now, Fighting Pandas, they don't really face the same problem, and it might be a little bit easier for them comes mid-game, but it all depends on this last pick and seeing where Visage is actually, because it just might be a support Visage too. Considering you have 2 control heroes on your cores, Chaos Knight and Centaur, they both offer stuns. I believe Visage can just as well be a support. It won't be the worst game for him to be that.
Yeah, and that's where it makes this last ban really interesting too for EHOME, because again, they're sitting here, I'm sure, wondering the same thing. Is that a support? Is that a mid lane Visage? And that certainly depends on what you want to ban. They are going to ban a mid lane hero, thinking that it is a support Visage, or at least just not going to take the risk. So they take out OD.
And they go with Dragon Knight. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not really a hero that you can counter way too easily on that mid lane, right? When you pick up the DK, now it's on Fighting Pandas to think of one way of dealing with him. There's still some heroes such as Razor, right, that works well versus him. Something like a Monkey King isn't completely out of the option, but probably won't be picked.
5 seconds.
What about like a Slark mid?
Oh, I mean, that would be pretty decent. We've seen that, I believe, actually, versus the Dragon Knight, right? And it worked pretty well. It is an option for them. It puts them on an awkward timing, though. I think Fighting Pandas, they should just play to their strength and comfort zone. Don't do something like they did in that last game. Huskar is their comfort zone, but not the way they played it. Like Huskar plus Dead Prophet. It wasn't really the best lineup for them.
Yeah.
Just focus on yourself if you're Fighting Pandas and worry less about enemy team, I guess.
Sure. No, that's definitely fair. You could feel that last game at the draft. They tried too hard to worry about the Templar Assassin, and it didn't even actually work in the end. So sometimes you just got to play your own game and let that work in itself.
They are spending quite a lot of time for this last pick. 10 seconds left. Let's see what they have in store for us for that mid lane versus Dragon Knight. Shadow.
Select your heroes.
All right. Some magic damage, some burst versus the Bloodseeker later on as well. I don't know if he's going to be building that sustain build, some utility build, or if he's going to go for that just normal right-click damage, or perhaps even some pick-off oriented Shadow Fiend with Yules. I've seen it all recently, and in all honesty, I've just seen it fail recently. Like every time I see a Shadow Fiend, it's just like you have a good laning stage, perhaps. Let's say you have a good laning stage, but after it, you just kind of fall off. You can't really decide what you want to do as a Shadow Fiend. Do you want to get that Yules and pick-offs? Do you want to deal damage? Because you're kind of jack of all trades but master of none, I guess. Like you can't really... but then again, you can create a lot of space for Envy to come online, and in the end, that's all that matters in this game, I believe, for them. It is that Envy has a really good start and that this Chaos Knight comes online fast enough. On the back of this Chaos Knight, you can definitely win the game.
Well, that's what Fighting PandaS is hoping for. Try to win with a draft right here. Again, Aoi playing Visage. That's the fun treat that we get, certainly, as well, in that supporting role. The Grave Chill is certainly going to be a powerful tool to take advantage of this game.
Man,
those familiars.
long time when I was competing, Aoi was the guy to watch for Visage. Like Visage and Kotl and Techies, obviously. If you want to learn those heroes, you just watch guys such as Aoi. Lil used to be really popular among Visage players too, but yeah, didn't really reach as much success as Aoi did.
Like I said, quite the treat right here, and that's you know, a fun little mark to go into game number 3. Final game of this series. Winner moves on to play TNC, as stated earlier. Loser move on to play Unknown. Again, ultimately, every team still advancing on out of the group stages, no matter where you place in the playoffs. So it goes without saying, I want to get to that winner's side for many of different reasons. But here we are in that game 3.
I mean, you want to play versus TNC if nothing else. Like, they've been looking so hot recently. You want to test your skills versus such a strong team too.
Yeah, apparently they took care of business, I'll say it that way, against Team Unknown in the first series. Again, Team Unknown is certainly one of the teams that not the highest expectations going in this event, but
yeah, they're unknown. Sorry, I'll show myself out.
Get out of here.
I'm done. Yeah, they're escorting Moon Meander towards that tier 1 on the mid lane to get some retaliate stacks. That's your casual move. Gets 3. Says that's good enough and moves back. By the way, I have to say that Aoi on this Visage can do fairly well in the laning stage, but later on in the game with the birds, unless he's only exclusively using them for control, he might face some problems, because Rubik with the Fade Ball just completely negates the damage of the new birds. I mean, relatively new birds. Dragonite as well with a lot of armor, with Breathe Fire can reduce the damage too, right? So there's a bunch of stuff that deals with Visage quite well.
Yeah. Yeah, again, very confident Visage player, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be very powerful just because of that. But man, how about that, by the way? That's 3 for 1 favoring EHOME. That's because of Faith Biani goes up here and steals this rune from Eternal Envy. The Fissure coming into play.
And he should be fine here as well. He just moves, jukes the Visage. Visage that starts with Soul Assumption is good in the laning stage, at least when it comes to these battles, but offers nothing when it comes to control. And considering Chaos Knight started with his passive too, there's little that they can do to fleeing Earthshaker.
I think EHOME's aware of that, so perhaps even going to play a bit more aggressive, as you see right here.
I think that top lane for EHOME should be fairly easy, as long as you don't completely disrespect Visage and his ability to nuke you down with Soul Assumption. I think they should be farming versus Chaos Knight quite easily, or maybe even pressuring him.
DK is doing a good job last hitting early on. Of course, Shadow Fiend underwhelming with his potential to last hit. Needs those souls to add up. Right now, 5-1 DK versus the 2-0 Shadow Fiend.
Bottom lane snaking. Never mind. If he got one more poison on Crystal Maiden, perhaps he could have went for it.
Oh yeah, 5 stacks, that'll do it, but unable to do so.
Yep, so far all 3 lanes without any kills, but definitely volatile. Bottom lane, kills can happen pretty much anywhere right now. Mid lane probably least very unlikely, but the side lanes, just waiting for it to happen. Actually very interesting, AOY, he goes for the passive on the top lane too. Like, no Grave Chill actually goes for the passive early on. It allows you to trade hits a bit better.
There's again, not certainly, it's just more so, like you said, kind of learning from what he's doing. Oh, that was a misplay, by the way, bottom lane. Moon Meander, he went to hoof stop, and the disruption came out from Snake King, so they were not on the same page right there. Did it beforehand. I don't know if a kill necessarily would have happened with it, but either way, clearly not as planned.
Happens definitely, and VT Faded, he's still taking a lot of damage on this bottom lane. Similar things happening top to Xinkyu, as he is saved by the Fissure. He was fine anyway, but yeah.
And mid lane, Shadow Fiend, he's got some souls now. He's 13-0, 14-2 DK, so Bryle certainly recovering from behind, as you'd expect once again. And certainly Shadow Fiend, one of these mid heroes that can make his way to the jungle and start to rapidly farm as the early game progresses.
Yeah, at the same time, you're playing versus a Dragon Knight, and he loves when you go to that jungle, pops that dragon form, and instantly starts attacking your tower. One really good thing that EHOME has done so far is this top lane. Shaker has quite a lot of CS, actually more than the CK, and at the same time, they managed to block the easy camp CK, and we... There we go. That's the first blood. What I was saying is they blocked this small camp, which prevented Aoi from pulling it, and for a really long time, 3 minutes actually. And when you're playing Visage as a support, you really still need levels, and he wasn't getting any levels because he wasn't able to pull. And in the end, he leaves at the wrong time, which gets Envy to his first death in this game.
Yeah, that was, I'm glad you bring that up, because that was my concern as well that I wanted to address. And he does have a talent, level 15 talent though. It's 40% experience gain, which is nice, but yeah, that's level 15. Getting there in the first place as a 5 support Visage, it seems pretty difficult. So yeah, that's going to continue to be a concern as this game moves on. But speaking of this, CHENGDU's trying to just stay alive. You see that burst coming out for the Soul Assumption, does have Grave Kill now. Another auto attack could do him in, but CHENGDU, he's juking through the trees, not enough. Eternal Envy finally runs him down and get some revenge at least.
They're definitely very strong if they're together, right? As long as they stay together in this lane, they can take down the Rubik and the Shake. They're very difficult to play against, as you have this Soul Assumption that's just way too powerful. Bottom lane Moon is attacking Crystal Maiden here.
Not much more Bloodseeker can do without that. Another blow right coming up. Does have 13 wand charges, so BT Faded is fine. Almost trying to bait them out. Not gonna happen.
And the Salve as well. Salve's up. Super fine.
A rotation? No. Shadow Fiend. Gonna get the rune. And actually
Maybe.
is gonna keep going.
If they disrupt him, he's pretty much dead.
Line up the raises. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. Good movement. And yeah, as you called it, if they get the disruption, which they did, easy kill onto the Bloodseeker.
Also some stacks here perhaps for Brawl. He's going to take those 2 away. So pretty good rotation from him. He gets a lot done. Gets a lot of net worth out of it. And meanwhile, while he's doing that, it allows Aoi to go to mid lane to get some experience. And this is pretty big. Especially considering Dragonhide is going to use his form and might get the kill here though.
Visage, again, it's a support Visage. Certainly going to get killed off thanks to the support of Rubik as well. As Bryle lands the raises, in comes the disruption. We got ult 3, but the poisons are not going to be enough, and DK is now chasing Snaking.
That's a free kill for them, a bonus kill actually on Snaking. He had no mana to work with, so even with the disruption he wasn't able to do anything to the Dragonite. The thing is, like, when you're playing with or against the Dragonite, once he gets that level 6, he's going to pop his form and he's going to start pressuring your tower, so you need to rotate with your supports. And they did that really well on the side of EHOME. Sadly, well, not on the side of fighting PandaS, and there you go, he dies.
Yeah, Bryle just kind of walking up, and he definitely stalled him there. It's just a matter of he underestimated the potential. Got lifted in, and shortly followed up Dragon Form damage from DK. More than maybe expected, I suppose.
I guess what he thought is that the supports already shown themselves on the mid lane, and because of that, they will go away, right? But they didn't go away. They stuck around. He got stunned, lifted, and he just died. Another stun.
Mid lane. Yeah, he's just gonna TP out. Good call right there.
Such a good play, by the way. I love that. Like, instead of trying to run from the Grave Chill from the slows, he stuns and TPs out. Because if he tried to run, first he slowed down, so because of that he takes extra right clicks, but also he'd get in range for the necessary 2 raises to take him down. So, very well played by him. Bloodseeker is rotating top.
Say TP's go really good this game, even for the other side too. Of course, as you mentioned, Bloodseeker, he's one that's his bane.
Tower is under attack.
Earlier on in the game especially, so make sure you're carrying those TPs for many of reasons. As with the TP, he is going to pressure the tier 1 tower up here. His teammates.
Dire's top tower is under
Bottom
attack.
tier 1 also going to take the pressure.
Yeah, pretty much similar movements, right? Very similar. Bloodseeker ported top, at the same time Chaos Knight ported bottom, so both tier 1s on the safe lane will fall. And yeah, Dragon Knight is the one that can pressure mid lane a little bit better, so objectively EHOME is having a better time because they're also pressuring the tier 1 on the mid lane.
I got a question for you. So Bloodseeker, I was gonna say, so they have both Bloodseeker and DK. They could get Radiance on each of those heroes if they really wanted to. Now Bloodseeker's not going for it, so. But does DK get a Radiance? Because you are up against the Chaos Knight specifically.
Yeah, it wouldn't be bad. It wouldn't be too bad considering you're versus the DK. I think it's pretty much player preference if he wants to do it.
Oh man, yeah, Faith Beyond turning this big time. That's a poor Shadow Demon right there. It's when you think you have a chance at it yourself and it gets turned bottom lane. The run is on. Eternal Envy throws it in place. These are the two supports. Eternal Envy is going to say, all right, let's fight then. Here comes the Blood Right, gets one kill. Eternal Envy has to man up. Another heal, one more second with the cooldown. Pops a stick. Blood Right Silence finally wearing off. He's on the run though. He's trying to get away, but look at the chain. Bryle's gonna come in, and now instead of a couple raises at least. So Bloodseeker will survive, but with Bryle being there, it's gonna allow Eternal Envy to keep running and ultimately
really
TP away.
Really good play by Bryle there, just coming in as a bodyguard and saves Envy. Also Envy realizing that he cannot just run away from two supports. He played that well. He pops his ulti, kills Crystal Maiden. I actually expected him to die there, but EHOME overestimated their damage output against the CK that has quite a lot of HP earlier. They don't manage to take him down. Moon, however, on the top lane, he's been gone on, but again, just very tanky.
Unlike the first game, has a nice block there. This Faith Beyond, again, he didn't have the greatest game one in terms of farm progress in the Earthshaker, but he did land a lot of solid fissures, and you see another example right there. He's on point with these fissures for sure. Earthshaker, and he's having a great game this time around when it comes to his farm. It feels like he is second overall in net worth behind his teammate. He's going at Ags.
Yeah, he's had an amazing lane overall, and you can see that the two cores, the two position ones on both sides have suffered really really hard in the laning stage. On one side the Bloodseeker, on the other the Chaos Knight. They both didn't really have the best laning stage overall. But the question is which one of these two heroes does more with less. And I believe it's on Bloodseeker to start rotating and being active a little bit earlier than it is on Chaos Knight. But at the same time 897 is doing a really good job mid.
Stampede is going to use it to turn around. In fact, they're going for the turn play. DK, that Dragon form, out comes the Freezing Field, to pull back in with the Reality Rift, and down goes the Dragon Knight. Crystal Maiden, however, going to be stopped by the CK stun, but the Fade Bolt snipes out Shadow into the back lines. The Blood Right put down. Aoi trying to hold the best that he can, which is not too well. With that rupture on him, he had to stand and fight. The tower goes down, and the kill for VT Fade as well. So overall, it feels like EHOME got a good amount out of that themselves, despite losing the DK.
Yeah, they lost the DK with the Dragon form, but he had Arcane Rune on. So I think this is pretty good for EHOME. They take down the tier 1, they trade 1 for 2. I have to say Crystal Maiden had an amazing ultimate there too, from the corner in between the fissure and the cliff, so no one could get to her, no one could disable her. Pretty good ultimate. Then Xingqiu just gets in there on time to use the Fade Ball to take down the Shadow Fiend, rupture on the Visage. Yeah, pretty solid, pretty well executed by EHOME overall. But one of the reasons is the fact that Bloodseeker can get active this early on, and Chaos Knight can't really. He needs that turret, which he didn't have, so they had an extra hero to work with pretty much.
Faith Beyond. Obviously, this guy's bringing the experience to this EHOME squad, and he is very close to an Ags now. And this is, compared to that first game, once again, it's going to be about a 13-minute Ags on this Earthshaker, pretty damn fast. And that movement is certainly going to be coming into play. Got Bloodseeker going. Okay, so he's going the Blade Mail, actually. He was just going to go the Maelstrom first, but changing his mind there.
Very interesting item build, yeah.
Dire's bottom tower is
Peculiar
under
to go
attack.
for the Blade Mail because it doesn't allow you to farm nearly as fast as the
Dire's
Maelstrom does.
structures are fortified.
But it does help out versus some damage that comes from the side of fighting Panda,
Radiant's
specifically
middle
versus
tower
SF,
is
right?
under attack.
It's what messes him up, especially because
Dire's
SF is going for
bottom
this
tower is
Yule's
under
build, so Bloodseeker will pretty much
Radiant's
never be
top
the target to
tower is under
Yule's and kill with your ulti, you can just die from the Blade
Dire's
Mail.
bottom tower has fallen.
See right there, Bloodseeker applying that Blood Rage over and over again to the DK as they're pushing the tower, and they're
Dire's
going
bottom
top
tower
lane
is
because,
under attack.
well, that's just the familiars over here, actually. Aoi himself he's flying away. He's well away from that area. They're not going to catch him, and this is certainly something that Visage can do, whether it's support or a core. He can split push pretty well, especially with those familiars, and he's already doing that.
Yeah, if you want to watch a Visage player do this, and if you want to learn, that's definitely Aoi. Like you can pretty much just creep skip with familiars, pull them to the creep waves, but he might lose them as well if he's not careful.
Yeah, there's that
Lose.
breath. Yeah, they're
He lost one, resummoned before the other one was killed, and not
I'm
really
wondering.
great.
I was gonna say, I'm wondering, I guess, stretching for an Axis game, it feels like it'd be pretty greedy
On
as
Visage?
a support.
Yeah, definitely. I think some utility build for him would be perfect. Axe is always nice. Having that axe, extra bird, an extra control, an extra stun would be great. But also Vlad's medallions, something like that. Some smaller items would come just in handy, or just a bunch of wards too, because you have a greedy position
Dire's
4
middle
already
tower
on the
is
Shadow
under
Demon,
attack.
and you can't really afford to go for a big item such as Axe.
Umiander setting up in the mid lane.
Bait
Who got
down.
caught? Oh no, that's how getting caught. Actually, Freefield stopped immediately thanks to the familiar stuff. However, he gets picked off. Here's an Echoes in there with more supporting cats coming in. Now Faith Beyond trying to jump out. Q, he's being beat down by the CK. There's a Requiem in the backlines, by the way. Faith Beyond does explode to that, and they do catch up to Q. DK blinks out, excuse me, or finishes off Eternal Envy, that is. And now trying to get away from the Centaur, so they got something out of it, especially with the CK kill, but the overall net worth favoring fighting Pandas right there.
Yeah, they messed up a little bit.
Radiant are
EHOME,
scanning.
they didn't kill Visage on time, so he was able
Radiant's
to
middle
break their
tower is
combo
under
up
attack.
with one bird. Oh, 897 actually doesn't go for the bounty, and now Snaking should take both of them as he was afraid of the bird stun. If he got stunned by the birds, he might just as well be dead because there is Brawl coming in.
Yeah, speaking of Prowl's build, he went that Yules early on, Spell Lamp talent as well, so have our answer there for sure of what style of Shadow Fiend he's going for.
Yeah, it's definitely a good item build to go for. One problem is the BKB, right? Like once the BKBs come up on EHOME, you can see that Dragonite is building towards it. Same with the Bloodseeker. So once they get those BKBs, they don't really care too much about an SF that's going for the magic build. Aoi, you might be a bit too deep, sir.
It's one thing for the familiars to be over here, but yeah, yourself, you gotta be a little careful.
Radiant's
he's
bottom
good.
tower is under attack.
Gonna summon once again, prevent them from killing them, and again, he's distracting. So really, he is accomplishing quite a bit, even by doing what he just did right
Definitely, because he also scouted them all out, and he forced a couple of TPs too. That instantly gives Brawl an opportunity to outpush top lane without a worry, right? Like he knows he won't be ganked because of that. However, he mustn't stay this for way too much longer as they are rotating in.
But they rupture that Shadow Demon mentioned earlier. What's Bloodseeker's worst enemy? A teleport scroll. And there you go. Shadow Demon's fine. Bloodseeker has the Blade Mail as mentioned. You made a good point though. Again, it's not really a rapid farming tool. In fact, he is just going to go into the BKB next. So this Bloodseeker is going to really fall behind unless hero kills start kicking in. So it's a bit of somewhat of a risky play, I guess you could say. But it's the play that EHOME's choosing to go for.
It definitely is scary to go for such an item, but considering your other core is Dragonite and he's also building in a very similar way. Dragonite isn't really building to scale too, right? If you look at his item build, it's 2 bracers, blink into BKB. Both of these heroes, they don't have any any tools to amp up their farm. They don't have any heroes too, no Magnuses, nothing like that to help them out with that. So pretty much once they get these BKBs, if they fail a couple of team fights, this game will be really tough for them. But BKBs will definitely allow them to not fail these team fights and execute them much easier. So it's on EHOME to just use these BKBs properly. Once they got a Crystal Maiden on the bottom lane, that's sad.
Yeah, just really wanted to clear the rest of that wave and then get out. That's, you know, sometimes you got to use that freezing fill farm, which, you know, that's not the worst decision ever. Usually you just see it used a more bigger wave, if anything, but...
He got 1 bird without using the ulti. For the other one, he's like, I'm gonna use my ulti, hope for the creep wave and the bird escapes. But it's good. It's good, like sometimes using that freezing field to just farm, like you just said, it's not something extraordinary.
It looks like, you look at the net worth chart, it feels like Eternal Envy is a bit behind. He sticks to the net worth, but you look at the numbers, he's really not that far behind. He sticks to net worth, but he's only 1,500 net worth behind Shadow Fiend, who's the top in the game. So really all the cores in this game are actually farming pretty well right now.
Yeah, if you look at it, 1k ahead on EHOME, right? So that's pretty much it. One of the reasons is there are no cores that really have these flash farming abilities on both sides. Besides SF, I guess, with the raises. But that's pretty much it. Chaos Knight can't really farm fast.
Yeah, top lane Brawl, he got jumped in. Blink on Dragon Knight, they want the kill, they're not going to get it. Centaur Stampede helping, or maybe still Faith Beyond says, I got it, boys, don't worry. He is going to die for this, but he makes it happen. They did lose Rubik as well. Maybe he won't. He kills Shadow Demon. Never mind. I thought there was more here. They were chasing. They got the Rubik kill, but then you saw what happened in the backlines. Faith Beyond still hopping around. And now Aui's trying to get out of here, flying through the trees, and Faith Beyond will leap right back in and allow VT Faded to finish the job. So that ends up working out beautifully for EHOME.
Yeah, they get 3, and also they didn't have BKBs to work with, so this team fight came before the BKBs, and that's very scary if you're fighting PandaS. Crystal Maiden doesn't take the hay. Alright. Fade Beyond is around it, he does have that echo. More. More.
The twins.
There's the Atos too. And he falls, yeah.
Alright, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. That was, yeah, for some reason, I just completely cut out right there.
It's fine. Moon just died and they lost. You were around for the top fight, so you know what happened completely. Yeah, it's all good.
Are scanning.
Yeah, but I think EHOME, they definitely look, after that last fight, they look like they're in control. They won the cup. They won those fights without BKBs, and now the BKBs are gonna be there too on Bloodseeker and Dragonite, so the fights should be much easier. But it's all about having proper vision and initiating first, right? Especially if you're EHOME. And they had that cliff vision on the top lane. Fighting PandaS didn't have a smoke or anything like that to fight into it, and they lost the fight. It's much simpler to play when you have full vision on the enemy team. You just know where to pounce. And they might pounce on Braille.
Yeah, they are gonna jump. Dragonite, that is, will lead the way. Shadow Demon getting out of this one. Another Rod of Atos coming into play, and yeah, just the lockdown is real. That's of course a vulnerability of Shadow Demon, especially without that BKB being finished. He gets jumped on, locked down initially. It's a hard chance for him to get out of there successfully. So they're gonna push tier 2 tower now with this.
Yep, I loves that Fiend, but he doesn't have a BKB yet on him, and he doesn't have a buyback too, and there's double damage on a Dragonite, and they're looking to knock on your high ground's doors, it seems.
Dire structures are fortified.
Yeah, talk about finding your groove. EHOME certainly has done that right now. Suddenly up 7,000. It feels like just a couple of minutes ago we were talking about this is maybe a 1,000 net worth lead and that's it. But it really opened it up now. Ever since that top fight, they killed a tier 3 tower. And
Moon did a really good thing. Yeah, Moon did a really good thing. They lost the tier 3, but they won't lose the Raxes because of him. He might fall here, most likely if they get an additional hero, maybe not even necessary. Yeah. The two of them should take him down. At the same time, bottom lane, yeah, he's called too. But overall, these two, what they're basically doing is just buying time for their cores to respawn, to get those crucial items that they can fight with, so it's fine. It's not like they didn't know that they most likely will die. But what items are we waiting for? We're waiting for the BKBs. SF doesn't have his, actually does have his in the courier flying over, and the Chaos Knight is the other core that we want to see that BKB on. And after that, they're kind of on even grounds and they can take a solid team fight. Yeah, tier 2 on the bottom lane. The next objective for EHOME's boys. Dragonite not even forced to use his form for this one.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Birds? We have a fight on the shrine. They're popping those BKBs and they're going in. Centaur is ruptured. He stampedes, but he's already down. They try to go for the Shadow Demon with the blink of the Dragonite, but he doesn't have necessary damage. Not just yet, at least. The Requiem is popped and the Bloodseeker is forced to retreat, but he falls. Isn't really able to run away. Does EHOME even care though? They should, because there's a buyback coming from Shadow Demon too. And beyond that, Chaos Knight isn't able to face off EHOME. Together with his boy SF, they fall in the end.
Radiant's top tower
And
is
I believe
under
I have
attack.
lost my caster.
Radiant victory.
Maybe it's Discord, but they GG out. And guys, that's gonna be game 3 finalized. EHOME take this series. They win against Fighting PandaS. Yeah, Fighting PandaS definitely did put up a fight, but yeah, they couldn't win in the end. And